cool warmte. De zon die brandt. Licht briesje over mijn schouders.
اليوم سوق السبائك، اليوم سوق وما ملكت ايمانكم، اليوم التوزيع. باذن الله عز وجل كلنا نصيب. والله يا رجل انا ادور ان شاء الله يعني واحد يهدي لي وحده. هو اليوم سوق السبائك لازم ناكل. انا ابيع. ليش؟ انا ثلاث ورقات. مسدس. ثلاث ورقات. تختلف زرق يختلف.
Have you ever heard of the Yazidi genocide?
No.
No. Nope.
No, I have not.
As you can see, many people have no clue who the Yazidis are and the genocide that took place. For over 2 years, the Yazidis were raped, tortured, relocated, starved, and so much more. The Yazidi people are still reeling from the traumatic experience ISIS put them through. The genocide of Yazidis and many other non-Sunni groups in Syria and Iraq has caused major debate in the religious world, along with the back and forth debate on what to do with refugees. So who are the Yazidis? Let's find out. The Yazidi have completely different views from Islam and are considered devil worshippers by other Muslims and Christians who do not understand their beliefs since the late 16th and early 17th century. Due to Muslims labeling them as devil worshippers when in the face of religious persecution, the Yazidi community have concentrated in strongholds located in remote mountain regions. The history of the Yazidis is intertwined with persecution at the hands of members of other religions, most notably Islam. Yazidi member Haji Condor told the Washington Post, "In our history, we have suffered 72 massacres. We are worried Sinjar could be a 73rd, Barbara told the Huffington Post. Islam's political framework includes protection for a limited number of religion minorities, religions like Judaism and Christianity, religions they believe is instituted by God but later corrupted. The Yazidi religion is based on oral tradition rather than a written one. The false notion of them being devil worshippers disqualifies them from being one of Islam's protected people of the book minorities. However, in the case of ISIS, it is clear that protected minorities are completely trivial."
During the Yazidi genocide, 10,000 people were killed within a matter of days. Of those 10,000 people, 3,000 of them were executed. Boys over the age of 12 were massacred if they refused to convert to Islam, and younger boys were trained to be child soldiers. Females were sold into sex slavery. 50,000 Yazidis were trapped in the mountains in northwest Iraq without food or water. In 2016, the UN formally recognized what ISIS did as a genocide.
The after effects of the Yazidi genocide were devastating. In August 2014, ISIS launched a coordinated assault on the Yazidi homeland of Sinjar. ISIS, also known as a Muslim extremist group, were committing mass murders by raping women, burning homes, and machine gunning men and women who did not convert to Islam. Women were brutally treated, such as were beaten regularly and were forced into sexual slavery. They were murdered in brutal ways, with almost half executed by gunshot, beheading, or being burned alive, while the rest died from starvation, dehydration, or injuries during the ISIS attack on Mount Sinjar. As a result, the UN estimated that around 3,000 individuals were murdered and 6,000 were taken captive. Due to these unfortunate events, they are currently at stage 9 extermination. ISIS's persecution of religions have over time been intolerable and is important today because the effects of the Yazidi genocide can still be seen today, as many as old as just 15 witness things that they should not be witnessing at such a young age. As a result, these children, especially girls, are being raised with psychological problems, altering their mental state of mind and instilling fear and trauma into their still developing minds.
Yeah, this guy's.
Thanks, man. Thanks for taking this. Alright, the first question I want to ask you is, do you want to tell us a little about your experience and how you overcame it and everything about it?
So, what happened mostly was I heard about it secondhand, but it was mostly my dad's, and so for this reason, like, I'll tell you everything. I just need you to keep my name out of it.
No problem, no problem.
And so when I was, I believe, 6 months old, he was shot at while he was at an intersection.
The Yazidi genocide had all 10 stages of genocide occur. However, we decided to focus on the 4 stages that were the most prominent in this genocide. First is dehumanization, where the Yazidis were captured as slaves and were not treated as humans. They were taken away their basic needs to survive. 50,000 Yazidis were trapped in mountains without food or water. Second is polarization, where the men and women were separated and enslaved, and so were the girls and boys. Third is extermination, where ISIS killed thousands of people. 10,000 Yazidis were murdered and executed within a matter of days. The last stage is denial. After the UN recognized the Yazidi genocide as a genocide in June 2016, ISIS has denied that they were not responsible for the crime.
While the UN is known for worldwide peace and security, unfortunately it was not present during the Yazidi genocide. The Commission of Inquiry calls on the international community to recognize the crime of genocide being committed by ISIS against the Yazidis and to undertake steps to refer the situation to justice. This is said by the expert panel in a statement marking the 3rd anniversary of ISIS' attack on the Yazidis. Quote, ISIS committed the crime of genocide by seeking to destroy the Yazidis through killings, sexual slavery, enslavement, torture, forcible displacement, and the transfer of children, and measures intended to prohibit the birth of Yazidi children. End quote. This is what the report concluded. The genocide is ongoing and remains largely unaddressed, despite the obligation of states party. However, under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide of 1948, the Yazidi crisis is now finally considered a genocide according to the report. However, it is the responsibility for the international communities to step up and recognize that ISIS is committing the crime of genocide against the Yazidis. The report concluded that these international communities urge action to refer the situation to justice, as well as to dedicate resources to bringing cases before national courts. However, the Commission recommended that all parties fighting ISIS consider plans to rescue Yazidi captives and use all possible measures to ensure their freedom during ongoing military operations.
And I didn't know about this until I was like 16.
Okay.
So then I found out that's the reason why we moved out of there. Eventually I found out that's the exact same reason we left Pakistan to go to Nigeria afterwards.
Okay,
so it was very, for him, it was because they don't appreciate Shias getting good business positions, because he'd recently gotten a promotion at a specific American bank that has a large international presence, and people didn't like that.
Okay, so I'm assuming it was the Sunni that shot at him, huh?
Yes, that much is pretty goddamn clear.
Alright. How has the crisis, ISIS and all the stuff they've been doing in the Middle East, how has that impacted you, personally?
For me personally, I have had to go and work at a couple of shelters to help out refugees, help out, make sure they're getting adjusted to living in different countries. And I can't say this person was close to me, but one of my aunt's relatives was shot at and killed in 2015, I believe. I have actually been to Iraq personally on a religious pilgrimage. That was in October 2016, October 2016.
Alright.
And I've seen soldiers coming back from the front. I've seen the sites that they bombed, and it's like, it shakes you up.
Yeah,
it's hard to, imagine, these are your religious sites and they're being attacked by people who are heavily armed.
Yeah, it's terrible what's happening back there.
Yeah. So at that point I could still hear gunshots.
October the 25th, 2016, the House of Commons unanimously voted to resettle, to provide protection to Yazidi women and girls who are escaping genocide. To this end, our government will resettle approximately 1,200 highly vulnerable survivors of Daesh and their family members in Canada, particularly focusing on vulnerable Yazidi women and children over the course of 2017. It is important to make 2 points of clarification here. The first is that we've always had a tradition of offering protection on the basis of vulnerability, not religion or ethnicity. As such, our response is focusing on all survivors of Daesh. Having said that, Yazidi people constitute a vast majority of the people that will be resettled as a result of this initiative because of the particularly high level of violence that they have suffered at the hands of Daesh.
The Yazidis' genocide was a horrific event that took place only a couple of years ago, and to this day, the survivors are still suffering from the trauma that they or their relatives have encountered. The UN and Canada have been taking action to aid the Yazidi community in their difficult time and need in various ways. Canada has taken in more than 40,000 Syrian refugees between the date of January 1st, 2015 and May 10th, 2016, and the majority of them were admitted by the government. Through the settlement program, new Syrian refugees are able to receive information about life in Canada and the community that they plan to settle in, as well as language training, job seeking, and connection with established immigrants and Canadians. They have also been given housing and schooling, providing them with a lot of financial aid. The UN has helped the Yazidi community in many ways as well. They have provided and sent financial aid in order to help the refugees get back on their feet so that they could start a new life. Not only did they help with financial aid, but they also sent humanitarian aid, meaning that they provided the Syrian refugees with basic needs such as food, shelter, and healthcare.
Okay. As a Shia, what's your understanding about the Yazidis? You know, if there's any stereotypes or understanding of their beliefs?
I mean, we never really, in all of, so I used to go to a Sunday school to learn more about Islam, and I can't say that they were ever mentioned even once. I casually asked my uncle about them when I was a lot younger, and he said they're mostly just tribal, peaceful people who want to live a normal life.
Okay.
So and he's like, he is actually a Maulana, so...
Okay.
Cause that's their understanding.
Sorry, because there's stereotypes around Syria and Iraq about them being devil worshippers and how they're not protected. Like, you know how Christians and Jews they're seen as, you know,
people of the book.
Yeah, exactly. They're not considered as such, which makes them like more of a...
Yeah, so Shias are also persecuted exactly like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty much like, it's like a case of, you know, no one wants any smoke. They're just people trying to live a normal life.
For sure, yeah.
Or at least that's what I've heard.
Yeah, okay. What was the hardest part about leaving your home country, Pakistan? I know you were... How old were you?
I was like 6, and I still go back sometimes, but we never announce that we're there, you know? Like, we have to keep it silent on social media.
Okay.
I think it was just losing touch with my culture, if I'm being honest. Like, I actually forgot how to speak Urdu. I had to relearn that from scratch. Saying bye to... So some family members I legitimately did not meet for like upwards of 15 years.
Wow, it's terrible.
Yeah. So like, and now I can see them all again because things have cooled down enough that we can go back. But there was like a 4-year period where we didn't even think about going back. It was just that bad.
Okay. You said that you went to Nigeria first, right? When did you come into Canada, and how did like that process occur?
Canada? 2 years ago, actually. I applied to go to U of T, and the visa came through, and that was it.
So it's just you, not your family, correct?
Huh?
Is it just you or your family? Like your...
So my dad's side family actually immigrated here 10 or 15 years ago. Like, they've been here a long time.
Okay.
they've been here a lot longer than I have, but they immigrated for work-related reasons.
Okay. And what is your opinion on like the refugee debate? How some people are saying they shouldn't be allowed in our country, some people saying that they should, and the back and forth debate in like America and Canada also.
And as far as I'm concerned, the crisis was created, like this whole sectarian divide did not exist until Western foreign intervention started happening in the Middle East. So like it's really hypocritical to say that no, the refugees don't belong here when countries like, and Canada is not exempt from this, which is why I'm happy that Trudeau is picking up the burden. But Western foreign policy created the disaster that has caused refugees. It's their responsibility to take care of them. You can't just mess up someone's country and not deal with the fallout. So yeah, I think it's like they do deserve a spot here.
Yeah, absolutely. Accountability is important when it comes to
it's exactly like you can't just the world doesn't work like that. Like you can't have a zero accountability system because then everything's just absolutely broken.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you, Kaz, for your taking the time to answer these questions.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Many of us individuals go on about our lives like it's nothing on a day-to-day basis. We don't think about what is happening around us, only what is happening to us. And when it happens to us, we make a huge scene just so that we can get attention or pity instead of focusing on the real problem and fixing it. We as a country and as a whole need to realize that there are people in the world that need our attention and need our help immediately. Majority of the time, they are not able to help themselves, and it is our job to make sure that we help them in any way possible. This can be as little as creating awareness to people on the streets, to getting people in a higher power to aid the conflict. As we heard previously about reconciliation that occurred within the Yazidi genocide, there has been action taken and it has helped greatly. But our society has the resources and power to do more. Now we ask, how did the Syrian conflict impact society's views of religion and religious freedom? Well, from what we've seen and heard today, it has impacted them in such a way that they still fear to walk around because they don't know if they'll be safe. They question if we as a society is with them or against them, or if they'll ever get justice. The Yazidis even question their own belief because they fear the danger of being caught again. We need to start acting now, and if we don't, society will break down and we will all be to blame for it because we have so much power, but unfortunately, we abuse those powers for the wrong reasons. So let's stand together as one and let's fight for what is right as a whole and not against each other. Just remember, every little thing counts. We stand and recognize the Yazidi genocide today.
We stand and recognize the Yazidi genocide today.
We stand and recognize the Yazidi genocide today.
We stand and recognize the Yazidi genocide today. Interview question for you is, so tell us a little about yourself, like what country have you immigrated from?
Yeah, my name is Benga Olowoyo. I think I'm originally from Nigeria down here. Yeah. But I've been to United States before.
That's good, yeah. How was your time compared to
I came from United States down here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So which country do you like better, US or Canada? Which one is able to help you the most?
No, Canada is, I think at least Canada is more helpful than US.
So how do you think that the crisis that's happening in Nigeria, so you fled from a war, if I may ask?
No. I think my own is just like a religion.
Oh, okay, so...
Yeah, maybe like a religion, maybe they ask you to do this, you don't want to do it, you know.
So then they would, consequences of course.
Yeah,
So how do you think so what religion, sorry, before I get into the question, what religion do you practice?
I'm afraid you may not know some of the religion, but I will still mention some to you, like where like our forefathers.
Okay.
The religions they do during their day.
Oh, okay.
Like traditional religion.
Yeah.
When the Christianity came to the world, so like my father is the head of the religion there.
Oh.
So when your father is old and they're now looking for the next person to take over the affairs of the religion, so they will now say, okay, because you are the son, you have to be the person. And meanwhile, you are a Christian, you don't believe in such religion. So you will be forced. Then you run away, they run after you, they will keep the post that you still have to come and do it. They will, in Nigeria, we always have some, let me say, like a king of a community.
Yeah.
So, and by the time they got the support of the king, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
When they got the support of the king will go to police station. They will use police to harass you. You have to do this. You have to do that.
You have influence over the police, so you can't do anything.
Yeah. So unfortunately, if you like me now, unfortunately, then I think I have a visa. Then I just leave the country. I just travel. Yeah. If they like, they look for somebody to do it. If they don't like, I don't know anything about that again.
Yeah.
So
what was the hardest part about leaving your home country? Like what was the biggest thing you had to leave behind, and how did it make you feel?
I couldn't say I left anything behind, because if supposing I have a children or I have a wife, then I will say, okay, I'm missing my children, I'm missing my let me say maybe I'm missing my old father.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know the time I'm going to be in Nigeria. He might still be alive then, it might not be, but nevertheless. So
yeah, how do you like your so what are your experiences in the refugee shelters here in Canada? So tell me about what you're doing now. What's going on in your life right now?
Yeah, man. Well, the experience in the refugee camp is all the way from Montreal down here. Yeah, they've been so the hospitality has been so good.
That's good.
And at least let me say they are really taking, let me say the Ontario Works are really taking good care of us. And the shelter too, every one of them is trying. They give us the food at time due.
That's really good.
So there's nothing to bother about.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
So we always feel at home.
Oh.